I am looking at the topic 7 review that is in your textbook. It is located on page 406. If you don't have a textbook, that's okay. If you go into Focus and look underneath our course documents, you'll find a PDF of this. And now remember, when you're going into Focus to pull your class documents, which also includes the links to videos, make sure that you are going into clicking the course name when you log in, not the grade book. Click the course name. You should see a tab that says Topic 7 Test Review. All of your test review material will be under that tab. So here we go. We're going to start out with number 9. We're going to write the 6 trigonometric ratios for the angle theta in the given triangle. Notice here we have variables. However, you could also, the same process applies if you have numbers, say like on number 8. I also want to point out in Teams or Microsoft Forms, there is no character for theta. So if you see sine x, that's the same as sine of theta. Theta is an unknown angle value. X or any variable represents an unknown variable. They can be interchanged. Okay, let's do this. So here we go. First thing we want to do is identify our legs, opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Here's theta. Well, opposite of theta, if we go directly across, opposite of theta is B. Adjacent to theta is right down here. Notice how it makes that acute angle with the hypotenuse. That is A. And my hypotenuse is always the side that is directly opposite of your right angle. That right angle is a little square. So hypotenuse is C. Now, you should have a reference sheet, or you should have it in your notes what your ratios are. I'm just going to kind of blast through this. If you look at the PDF copy of this work in Focus, I have it detailed out step by step. Sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse, so that is B over C. Cosine of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is A over C. Tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent, so that is B over A. Going into the reciprocal ratios, the reciprocal of sine of theta is cosecant of theta. So the reciprocal is hypotenuse over opposite. And just flip your fraction, C over B. The reciprocal to cosine is secant. And again, flip your fraction. That is hypotenuse over adjacent. The reciprocal to tangent is cotangent. And that is A over B, meaning adjacent over opposite. Okay, let's take a look at 10. We are given sine of theta equals 5/13. Well, if I want to find my other 6 trig ratios, I think I might need a little bit more information. Let's see what we've got. We know sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so that means my opposite is 5. My adjacent, well, I don't know. And my hypotenuse is 13. With this information, I can only do 2 of the trig ratios. I can do sine and I can do cosecant. I need to find the other 4, which rely on knowing the adjacent. To find the adjacent, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, let's stick with what we did in 9. We'll call the opposite B. The adjacent will be A. Hypotenuse is always C. It does not matter if you flip these around. If you call the adjacent B and the opposite A, it doesn't matter. The legs of the triangle are A and B, but the hypotenuse always has to be C. So let's plug in what we've got. We don't know A squared. B is 5, so that is 5 squared, and C is 13, so we have 13 squared. Okay, so we have A squared. Let's simplify. 5 squared is 25. 13 squared is 169. I'm going to again solve for a, so next step is to subtract. This is addition, we'll do the opposite. We're going to subtract 25 from both sides. 169 minus 25 is 144. Now we need to undo a square. To undo a square, we take the square root. A equals, the square root of 144 is 12. So this is my adjacent side. Okay, now that I know the adjacent, let's go ahead and do my other 6 trig ratios. So we had sine of theta is 5/13. We were given that. Cosine of theta is adjacent, which is 12, over the hypotenuse, which is 13. Tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent, so that is 5. And I said my adjacent is 12. And now let's tackle those reciprocal ratios. We have cosecant of theta, flip your fraction, 13/5. Reciprocal of cosine is secant, so secant of theta is 13/12. And then cotangent of theta is going to be 12/5. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here and I'll do a part 2 to this. I just got to keep these videos short so I can get these uploaded in a reasonable amount of time.